you written a children's book and now you have no idea how to get it illustrated? Does the thought of coming up with your own drawings scare the crap out of you because you don't know how to draw? Maybe you just want to learn how to illustrate a book and you lack the artistic skills. If any of that applies to you, this is the video you need. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 foolproof ways of how you can create beautiful illustrations for any children's book swimming around in that cute little head of yours. Stick around. In this first option, I'm going to show you how to create a children's book illustration using photographs in Canva. So if you have any photos that you want to use or you have an idea for a story, you can actually curate the photos for the story and then turn them into children's book illustrations. It's so much easier than it sounds, and I can't wait for you to see. One thing that I will mention though is that in this example, I just used whatever photos I had, so I didn't leave much space for the text, but you can use that forethought and take your photos in a way that is suitable for what you need. Let's go.
So once you create your template size, whatever the size is that you want of your interior, you're going to start with your clean template. And for this one, we're going to do a photograph. So we're just going to upload the photograph that you want to use. And in order to make this a spread, you can do this on one side of the page and then, one on the left side or the right side page, and then put text on the other side. But realistically, I like to do a lot of spreads in my books because I just feel like I don't know, I just feel like it gives a better feel to the book. So I'm spreading this out so that this half of the photograph is on one page, and then I want to keep the same size. So I'm going to right click and copy it, and then I'm going to add a page and paste that. And now we have this whole photo, and I'm just going to slide it over so that now the right side of the photo is on that page. And you can open it up and see, you see there's one on one side and one on the other. Once you do that, now you see, if you look here, there's nowhere a clear space to put any text. So we're gonna find a shape, and I like using this one because it can kind of go around the text. We're going to find a color in the photo. Now, a lot of times you can get like this background color. A lot of times it'll come up and it'll be the perfect color, but sometimes it's not. So I'm going to just use this closest color. I'm going to rotate it like that, and I'm going to spread it out as big as I can to kind of go around my subject, which is my little Jackson there. And we're just going to spread that around. I'm trying to get it to where it's not covering him at all, but there we go. So we're going to do it like that. Boom. And we want the same size for the next page, so we're going to copy that and paste it onto this page. We're going to move that so that he's got a little bit of, you can see him still. Sorry for all the noise. My kids are playing with their dad in the background. All right, now we have that done. We're going to filter these images. We're going to go up to edit image. We're going to go to paint effects. I'll show you what a couple of these different filters look like. So that's what mosaic looks like. I don't think that's anything that I would want to use for this type of illustration I'm creating. So we're going to try Windle. And you see Windle kind of gives that, I don't know, it's like that old school watercolory type of look. And I'm going to make this overlay a little bit transparent. That's at 81. So we're going to go down here and put this one at 81. And then we're going to put the same filter on this photo. Okay, so you see where we're going there? So once you get the filters on there, we're going to go here and look at the spread. Now you see we have this kind of swoopy deal that's, around those photos, and then you can see the filter. And I think that looks pretty good. I actually don't like the fact though that these swoopy overlays don't match. So I'm going to go back and try to make them look a little bit better. Rotate this. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, put it back up here, and I just want this angle on this side. So what I'm going to do instead is just kind of rotate it like this and push it over to the other side. And let's go ahead and check our spread. It's looking slightly better, but I'm still not pleased. We'll just keep going back and adjusting it until we get it the way that we want it. And the more that I look at it, actually this is a little bit better. Let's see. And then we'll just go back to this page and rotate that one down. You just have to kind of keep playing with it until it looks the way you want it to look. Getting close. We're getting real close. Okay, and for me that's satisfactory. So we're going to move on to the next step, and that's going to be adding the text. And this is pretty simple. We're just going to go to our page, add some text, choose a cute little font, drag it up to the overlay, because that's where we did that so that we could have a clear spot for our text. And you always want to make sure that your overlay gives you space for the trim. So you see this box that keeps showing up around here, that is going to be basically your trim line. Canva does a pretty good job of intuitively giving you a trim line. So just make sure you stay within there. Make sure you give yourself a nice space where you're not running your text to the edge of the trim line and not to the edge of your overlay. So we're going to put that, we're going to center it. You don't necessarily have to center it. It's however you want your book to look. But for this, for all intents and purposes here, we're going to center it. Size it up, and we're just going to add some text, whatever you want to say. And literally just like that, you've created 2 interior pages that is a complete spread. And you've simply done it with photographs. So make sure you save this as a PDF print. And here you can see our beautiful interior. And it just gives it that like artistic feel. It looks illustrated. I think it's really cool. Give it a try. Let me know what you think.
If you're enjoying this content, please hit the subscribe button and the like button so we can tell the algorithm that you like it, you need it, and other people do too. Let's get back to it.
Okay, so we're going to jump right on into Creative Fabrica, and this is where I like to get a lot of my illustrations. So we're going to type into the search bar watercolor characters, and we're just going to see what Creative Fabrica gives us. You can be as specific or as general as you want to. It's just going to mean you're going to have to dig through a few different illustrations. So as you can see here, you get lots of different options, and depending on the season, you know, like you'll get Christmas or Easter or whatever. I honestly don't know why we're getting a lot of Christmas, because it is close to Easter time, but I digress. You can get commercial licenses with these illustrations, so you just want to make sure that you have that type of license. Now I'm going to click these cute little bunny rabbits and just kind of scroll through and see what types of embellishments and the variety that you have here. And I think this is cute, so I am going to go ahead and download them. But as you can see, I have a green download button because I have a paid version of Creative Fabrica. You can use the free version, but you'll just have to pay for every single download that you use. And if you're going to use this a lot, I would suggest getting the paid version. It's quite inexpensive. I'll have a link for that in the description below. Sorry, I'm using my work internet, so it is going quite slowly. I'm going to have to go back and re-download that again, but let's do that, and here we go. Okay, and as you can see, we have the file here in the download section. We're just going to click on that and open it up, and you'll start to see that we have all of these different illustrations. We have the bouquets. You can kind of click through and see these beautiful little bouquet embellishments. And then we have characters. And some of the characters have these little embellishments around them as well, but there are some standalone characters that you can use in multiple ways. And then here's some compositions. It just shows like some of the backgrounds or the patterns added with other illustrations. And then here are some patterns. I like to use patterns for like a whole front page, like that first page when you open the book. I think it's kind of pretty to have a page like that when you open, or you can do a title page. It's really up to you. So now I'm just going to create a folder for my desktop, and I'm going to use that to drag all of the illustrations into that folder so that they are easily accessible when I want to drag them into Canva. And so I'm just going to highlight them and then drag them all into this folder. You're going to want to do that for each one of the folders inside of this zip folder so that those images are all within your desktop folder. How many times can you say folder in under a minute? Folder, 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 folder. Okay, and now you see all of the images are placed inside the bunnies folder so that we can drag the images that we want to use into Canva. Okay, so now that we have gotten our images, we're going to jump into ChatGPT to help us write a cute little story. So here I'm going to write, please write a cute children's story about, so we have our illustrations, two bunnies in love for ages 3 to 8. And you can get really, really specific with this. You can give it some prompts as to what the story should be like. Please keep the story under 500 words because we want this to be for small children, ages 3 to 8. And ChatGPT a lot of times needs a little help with that. Make the story easy to read. With a cute and interesting hook in the beginning. This is going to help grab your reader's attention. And a lesson learned. Okay, so give it a little something to work with. You want to have ChatGPT give you ideas for the story. You don't want to just copy and paste it. You want to give it your own little flair, your own voice, your own style. But I'm just doing this so that you can understand exactly how to do the process of the actual illustration. So I'm liking this little cute story that it has created for me, and I'm going to actually take the story, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it. I'm just going to do this directly with not any how do you say, without any edits to the story, just for the sake of getting it to the Canva page so you can understand how to set up your story with your illustrations. So you're just going to highlight all the text, Control or Command C to copy. And I'm just going to go over into Canva and create a document. I already have a template that I've used several times for a square children's book. So I'm just going to click that and I'm going to paste the text into this document. Once it's in there, it's kind of wonky and huge, so we're just going to get it so that it all fits onto one page, and then that way it's easily accessible. I can just highlight and copy and drag the text down to the page that I need it on. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this text box and I'm going to copy and paste each page worth of text on each page. So that way I know kind of what I'm looking at, how the story's going to flow, and what I need to put on each page to, in fact, tell the story. So that's just what you see me doing here. I'm just going through and I'm kind of reading the text a little bit. I'm breaking it up into chunks and I'm putting each chunk on the page for which I will illustrate it. And you kind of want to be thoughtful about it. When I first looked at the way this story was prompted out, I had one idea of how I would lay out the pages. And then once I got into Canva and start placing the sentences and the phrases on the page, I realized I could do more or less with certain um, sections of the text. Yay. And just like that, we have our text on our pages. You can set that up however you want. I mean, it's going to move around as you put illustrations on the pages, but let's get into that now. So we're going to go over here to our folder. So you open up your folder and you're going to do kind of like the same thing like you did when you drug the images into your desktop folder. You're just going to highlight them. I don't bother clicking them one at a time, one at a time. Just highlight them and then drag them over. And then Canva will slowly begin to upload them into its platform. And there you go. Ta-da! They have uploaded into Canva and they are ready to be used to create your images. Now for the fun part, let's drag in some images. So we have our Benny the Bunny character, and I'm just going to place him in here on the swing and flip him around. In my mind, I want him to face a certain direction. I'm really just trying to piece together this story about Benny the Bunny with his fluffy brown fur and his friend that he's in love with. So we're just going to go through here and look for different images that will tell the story. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, the this story doesn't really make a difference for you guys, but I just want you to see how to build a story. They're in a meadow, they're under a tree. You know, we're just trying to create this whimsical story. So, using the Canva elements, I'm looking for a background for this meadow that they are in. So we're going to have a blue sky. So we're just going to keep searching through and trying different backgrounds until we find something that suits what we want to use. So once I find the background, I'm just going to go down. I'm going to right click and scroll down to set images background, and that will just pin that to the background of that image so that it doesn't move when you're placing images or anything like that, and it doesn't print out funny once you download this as a PDF print. So now I'm looking for a background for his little sweet girlfriend. And same thing, once I find the image that I want, I'm going to scroll down to set image as background. And then you can go down to the whole page view so you can kind of see how things are looking as you upload your images. And mind you, I'm not doing this in the actual order of pages that I would in an actual illustrated book, because you're going to need front and back matter, you know, your uh, title page, copyright page, all that. I'm skipping over all that just to show you how to actually add your images and text. So with a children's book, you want to have some type of child-friendly text, but you want it to be very easily readable. So I'm just going through and trying out different versions of this text to see what suits this story the best. And then I'm going to go through and change the text for the pages so that it is all cohesive. And I mean, that to me looks really, really cute. Okay, looks good. Now let's go on to the next page. So I'm just going to drag this text up. Realistically, you can get stylistic with the text and all of that. This, like I said, is just for the illustrations, but you want to look at what the illustration actually says and make sure that the images you are placing tell the story of the text and that it all is cohesive and tells the story as the child goes along and reads. Once again, changing that font style so that it's cohesive with the rest of the book. And then we're just going to scroll through and find what fits best. Now for this one, I am going to have to kind of build on it, and this is going to be a really good example for you guys to see how to create something that is a little bit more customized. So we're going to find a background for this page in our beautiful meadow. Oops. Let's set that as the background. It's a little dark. So I'm just looking for some leaves and flowers and things to kind of fill out this page and just make it look a little bit more than just copying and pasting someone else's illustrations, which is fine. It's fine to do. I just want to show you how you can embellish it a little bit more and make it a little something extra. And once you're placing these elements, sometimes you might want one or another of the elements in front of or behind something. You just select the element you want to move and you change it by clicking position. You can click position up in that taskbar up top, or you can right click and choose position, or you can choose the three dots. There are so many different ways to get to that. But you just want to change it to forward or back. And then that way you can kind of layer things in whatever way suits your story. I want this sky background, and for some reason I can't find it, so I'm just going to go up and copy it and paste it into this page. And because they look like they're just floating off into the heavens, I need to find some grass or something for them to sit on so it grounds them somewhere. And see, like this, I'm just going to drag this across the bottom, and then I'm going to go up to position in a second. I'm going to go up to position, and I'm going to put that backward. And so now it looks like they're sitting on the grass. Now I want to put the grass on the other side of the page because, like I said, I like to do spreads. So I just placed it on the next page, and I'm just opening up that full view and adjusting it, full view, adjusting it until that grass lines up with the grass from the other page. Okay, that's looking good. Oh, it's large. It's very large text. You have to remember too, it may look like the text is very small, but you have to remember it's on a little screen. When you actually print these books out, it will be gigantic if you use size 24 text. So unless you're creating like a book for a 2-year-old, you don't really want text that large. I try to stay somewhere between 14 and 16. Sometimes, depending, I'll go up to 18, but it really just depends. 24 is huge. Okay, so for this one, it's like kind of a transition from the previous image to what's happening next in the story. So I'm going to get a little bit more creative. I'm going to use some of Canva's tools, and I'm going to try and erase one of the bunnies out of this image. I'm just using the select tool, and it's going to grab this bunny out of the image, but you'll see that it's going to leave a spot where the bunny used to be. So now there's like a phantom bunny outline. We need to get rid of that. And one thing I didn't try when I did this, because it was a PNG and I just assumed there was no background, I didn't try to remove the background. I went in with the eraser tool, which works just fine for what I'm doing, but next time I probably will attempt to use the background remover tool to get rid of the white shadow. Because as you can see, you have to be really, really careful with the eraser tool. Now I have one computer that's a touch screen. I could probably have used a stylus for this, but I'm going to assume that everyone does not have a touch screen laptop. And you can see how this story starts to come together. It's kind of fun to do it like this. And it's really just like that. You just start to play with the images that you've downloaded. You can actually even download multiple packs of watercolor images to kind of mix and match the illustrations to create an even more in-depth images. And that's it for that one. Yeah, this is one of my new favorite ways of purchasing images and creating illustrations. Okay, so moving on, since we've already seen how to co-illustrate with Canva, we're going to see how we can do it completely reliant on Canva's elements and such. So this is 5 candy apples. This is one story that I did where I completely used all of my Canva resources. And as you can see, actually, let me open it up so you can see the whole view of the book. It's a fun counting story. It's very simple. Nothing that you can't do on your own. And we're just going to go in and we will recreate. How about this one right here? Okay. So we're going to go on in here, and this one, it's like so simple, it's ridiculous. So as you see, we have an apple orchard background. You know, you got your sleepy little apples. We're going to add a page in here. We're going to go over to, this time we're going to go to the first place is photos. So you might automatically think, and you see I already was looking for it, you might automatically think that photos are like pictures that you've taken or something like that. That's upload, so that's a whole nother thing. You're going to go to photos, and as you can see, I just typed in cartoon background, and several different backgrounds will show up. So you kind of have your pick. I think that you might also benefit from going to like Pixabay or Pexels, one of those places, and finding other free images as well if you don't find what you're looking for here. But we're just going to select that. And once, just like the last illustration, you're going to want to spread this out over the entire page. Now, as you can see, we're running out of some space here, and that's actually a good thing. You want to fill this whole page with the right side, the left side of this illustration without making it any bigger just yet. You just want to try and get the whole thing. And there we go. So now we're starting to make it bigger. It's a square, and the page is a square. No, it's a rectangle, and the page is a square. So you kind of want to spread it out so that it gets big enough to fit halfway on your left page and then halfway on the right page. So we're going to do like this and just move it down just like that. Same as the last one, you're going to right click and copy. We're going to add another page, and we're going to paste that same picture on the next page. And you're just going to move it over the opposite direction. Now, if you're questioning what that looks like, let's open up the spread view. And here we have our orchard. Now, as you can see, this basket of apples is just independent and over there by itself. We're going to want to kind of cut that off a little bit so that it matches up with the other apple. You don't necessarily actually have to. You can leave it like that because I don't really think that's kind of that big of a deal. Or you can move this one over. That's what we're going to do. We're going to move over the left side. Do a lot of trouble. So you just kind of have to finagle it a little bit. Now you have a bunch of apples here and a bunch of apples there. Now we're going to add in our candied apples. So select the page you're working on, go over to Elements, and type in apples. You have a whole assortment of apples, and I actually think I'm going to use a different kind of apple this time. We can try, ooh, these look fun. But once again, it doesn't match the style of illustration. So let's try something else. I think this one, even though the colors are a little darker, this type of lines, if you see like the lines that don't have a black outline, these don't have a black outline. It's kind of that hazy finish on the edge. This is kind of that hazy finish on the edge. That's what we're going for. We want it all to be similar. And I'm actually going to go in and just that lighter red color, I want it to be the same color. Now let's go here and we're going to make that red color a little bit lighter. So maybe we'll just take it away altogether. See how you can just make that three-dimensional, or you can make it two-dimensional, one-dimensional, flat. You can make it flat. Now we have our apple. You're going to right click on that and you're going to copy it. And you can actually use a keystroke Control V and that will make a copy for you. So we have how many apples? 2 apples on one page and 2 apples on the other. So we're going to paste those there and we're going to go down here and we're going to paste our other 2 apples. Now we got 2 apples. They don't have any faces. What do we do about faces? As you can see here, they're yawning, so their eyes are closed. Now, if you want to have regular eyes, you can go over here and you can type in eyes, and there are an assortment of expressions, eyes with eyebrows, eyelashes, glasses. You can do so many different things. I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to type in half circle and see what I get. And we have this here. So it's huge, but it will work, I think. We're going to turn it black. We're going to shrink it down, and this is actually on the wrong page. Let's drag them down here. Going to shrink it down, and we are just going to measure it on the apple. I'm going to use my arrows to move that. And yeah, that works for now. So we have that one and we're going to copy it and do the same thing again. We're going to copy and paste. And I hope that I just got, yes, copy and paste. Oops. Now once they get so small, sometimes it's hard to grab them and drag them, so I like to click off of the page and then go over to highlight it, and usually you can grab it like that. And there you go, you got 2 sleepy eyes. Now the easiest way to do this, because you're going to want to copy and paste again, move the apple out of the way, group them, so you highlight it and you go up here to group, then you copy, move your apple back, and then we're going to go over to this apple and we're going to paste. Okay, and actually it's going to paste in the same spot. So just like that. So they have eyes. This one has eyes. And this one's going to have some eyes. Click off of that. Go over there and grab it. And as you can see, Canva gives you these little intuitive lines so you know when you're in the middle of something. It's the best thing ever. Now we look at their mouths. Their mouths are yawning. So we're going to go back up here and we're going to type in circle. And you see what I'm doing here? I'm just really like imagining whatever it is that I want to create and just building it with shapes. You may not be able to draw, but you know, we can use our imaginations. And just remember that this might seem difficult or tedious at first, but it's worth it. Like this is, you know, this is potentially could be something that you make, you know, some good money with. It could potentially be something that, you know, you use to leave a legacy for your family. I mean, you get to tell your story, man. Like try at least, you know, the worst thing that could happen is that it turns out like crap, but you didn't, you know, you didn't fail to try. So just pasting those black circles again, and we're just going to try and find the mouth spot there. Drop that down just a little bit. There we go. And we need some hands. Oh, they're so tired. They're so tired. Go up here and find a white glove hand. There we go. I use white glove hands a lot, apparently. Let's see. You gotta find something that kind of looks like it's the back of the hand. Let's just do white glove. White glove, not white globe. What are you doing, Canva? No, I want white glove. Okay. So just search through and maybe we'll try a different kind of glove this time. It's always good to get creative. So let's try a mitten. I kind of like this mitten, but as you can see, oops, still on the wrong page. As you can see, once again, it's got the shading here. I want the whole glove to be white. So we're going to go over here and turn the whole glove white. Ooh, I don't like that shading. I wish I could get rid of that part, but it's just going to be a fat glove. We're going to shrink it down just like we did with Wanda. Now this is the cool feature about Canva. You see how the thumb is facing inward? Well, I guess you could turn it one way or the other. I want their hands to be, the bottom of their hand to be toward the left side. So I'm going to reach here and I'm going to tip it this way. But now you have a backwards hand. So you're going to go up to flip and you're going to flip it horizontally. I also don't like that that glove is so long, so I'm going to hit up crop. We're going to go here and we're going to crop it. We're going to crop the bottom of that glove off and call, hey, we're going to crop the bottom of this glove off if it will let us. There we go. And leave just a little bit of wrist and call that done. Let's shrink that down just a tiny bit more. I'm not sold on that size of that glove. And now we got a yawning apple. Okay. Gonna right click on that, copy, paste. We got one more glove over here. And you just got to have fun with this kind of thing. You know, it is a tedious process at first, but once you get the hang of it and you're saving, you know, $1,800 getting somebody to illustrate a book for you, and you realize you can do it for free or for $12.95 a month, I think is how much I pay for my subscription for Canva. You can't shake a stick at that. So we're going to go over here and grab some text. Now, I don't know if you noticed the text for this story, I made it kind of fun because it's, you know, just want to make it fun. So you can drop down, use this drop down. You see all these different types. I mean, there's so many fonts, and I've even imported some of my own fonts here. So I'm going to use my favorite, my go-to toy box. What is that? Adigiana or something? Toy box. I just call it toy box, but I love it. And this is some fun text. And we're just gonna stick that over here somewhere. And remember, when you're illustrating for to download onto KDP, to upload onto KDP, this little intuitive box that you see around the text, stay within that because that's really going to help you understand your margins. And yeah, so we're going to put that there. Now you see it's over that window. Let's move it up. Oops. Click off and then go over here. Move it up so that you're not interrupting the photo with your text. What would be better is to group all this. So we're going to group all this so they're all together. And we're going to move this apple over here. And we're going to bring this text down here so that it is join the party. And that's really it. You can really kind of poke around on Canva and find some really creative ways to illustrate a story, to add some drama to whatever it is you're trying to create. Quite possibly one of the easiest ways to create an interior for a cartoony type of book. And as you see, I've kind of already gotten started. I'm going to show you exactly how I created this illustration here. And it's really, really simple. You're just going to go over to Elements. And we're going to do this little chicken themed book interior. We're going to get some grass, some ground, some grass, whatever you want to call it. And then you're going to search for a chicken coop. You have a few different options here. And it's going to really be, you want to look at the illustrations. You see some illustrations don't have like a black line around the edge, or they may have some sort of highlight, or this one kind of looks like it might be in like a kids activity book. You want to try and keep the theme or the colors of the illustrations the same. So we're going to get this chicken coop here. I'm going to set that over to the side because we need a mama hen to go up inside of that chicken coop. So let's find some chickens. And we got this cute little goofy mother hen right here. I'm going to shrink it down. And what I should have done actually first was gotten the coop and the chicken, because we're going to group those together. So you're going to scrunch her down so that she fits. Oops, that's a little too small. So that she fits inside of that little chicken. And this is just, just so you can kind of get an idea of how creative you can get with these things. Don't go copying my chicken book, because however many of you guys watch this decide to copy the chicken book, you're going to have all the same book. And then Amazon's going to kick you out. Truthfully, Amazon will kick you out for plagiarism. So now that we got her where she's situated, and you can see that it looks like she's sitting inside there, you're just going to highlight both the chicken and the coop, but not the grass, and you're going to group them together. Let's size that down the way we want it, and I'm not really sure how we want to size that yet. Actually, that looks kind of good. And then we're going to get some blue sky to add to the background. I mean, if you can't do that's crazy. Like, if you really want to create some books and sell them online, and I like this blue sky here. It's okay if you make mistakes and it doesn't come out perfect the first few times. I mean, I'm still trying to perfect my style and my skills as it is as well. So we got her all situated in there, and you know how I like a spread, so we're going to copy the size of this grass, and we're going to add a page, and we're going to paste it right in there. Now when you open it up, you can see that these two pages look like a continuous illustration. You know what? We're going to also need to put some of that blue sky in the background there too. There you go. And then that way you have this spread. You can put some illustrations down here on the bottom in the dirt. You can put them up in the sky. I think I might even want to add some little grazing chicks. Let's see if we can find some little chicks. And remember, like I said, you want to try to find some And like I said, you want to find you want the illustrations to kind of look similar, and make sure you stay within that trim line. You don't want to be putting things right to the edge of the trim line or just outside of the trim line, because they will get cut off, or even it just won't be a good focal point for the page. I'm going to copy this little chick that I put here, and I'm going to see what it looks like if I take it and flip it so that it's facing the other way. Yeah, because we don't want them to be there by themselves. Where's that trim line? Can't find you. I think it's like right there. So we're just going to put that one down a little ways. Let's see if we can find maybe a rooster. None of these guys are really giving me what I want to get. How about, let's get see if we can find a grain sack. Just to add a little something to the page. The idea is to design the page in a way that looks entertaining to the eye. You know, these are children's books, so everyone that picks up this book is not going to be able to read necessarily, and you want them to enjoy what they're seeing on the page. Now, let's put another one of those chicks over here on this page. And you know, a good idea is to put the chick next to the hen to make sure that the size is, proportionate. You don't want to have a chick that's this big and the hen, how is the hen going to lay that egg? Please tell me how. We gotta add something else on this page, on these pages. I just can't leave them just blank like that. Let's see, maybe an apple tree. Make sure you select graphics when you're trying to do a cartoon because it's going to give you the proper images. You're not going to be sifting through a whole bunch of, oh, that's not the page I want to put that on. You're not going to be sifting through a whole bunch of different images that just don't pertain to what you're trying to find. That's what we could put. We could get a barn. Let's see, how red is that? Get a nice red barn. We don't want it to be too big because we're going to make it look like it's in the distance in the background. So we're going to make it pretty small. I want to put that down on this page. Here you kind of have just a little visual of this barn back there behind the grass. Okay, so you see there's a barn back there in the distance. And let's see if we can get like a hay bale. I think I might like this here. We're gonna make it look like some little piles of feed. Put a couple of those out and around. You see how you can just kind of build on the scene. Okay, we got that bale there, or that pile of feed there. Let's put one more, and we're gonna make this one a little bit bigger, I think, and have it kind of go right to the edge of the page. And what I'm going to do, because I want that to be cut off, I'm going to copy it so it's the same size. I'm going to paste it up here, but then I'm going to drag it over so that just that little bit, and I hope I didn't go up too high. Yeah, I went down low. And actually, I think it's better low. So that way, there's just a little bit of interest. Once again, sorry about the noise in the background. I have children. There we go. And now let's add some text. And I'm really just choosing the most basic text. This is just so that you can understand that you need to have spacing, proper spacing for your text. And when you start adding your text, you can do different things like making it curve around the page. I mentioned that a lot, and so I'll show you how that works here. But I'm going to make a couple of lines of text that are the same size so that I don't have to keep changing them. I'm going to go up to Effects. You're going to scroll down to Curve, and it's going to add this nice little curve. But then what you're going to want to do is kind of play with it a little bit. Turn it to the side, straighten it out just a little bit. Once you have these two phrases, you're going to want to curve them different directions. So we're going to go here again, we're going to select the curve, but now you're going to take it all the way back the other direction. Let me see how much I gave, how much curve I gave that. 27. Oh, and minus 27, perfect. And then we're going to line them up so that they kind of do this artistic kind of curvy thing. I'm not loving how this text looks, actually. I'm actually really not liking it. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of doing this off the top of my head as usual, but that gives you sort of an idea of what you can come up with when you want to create cartoons. When you want to create a cartoon illustration with Canva. So let's download that. We're going to download it as a PDF print as usual. That's the only way you want to be downloading, saving your files to upload to KDP is with a PDF print file if you're using Canva. There are other formats for Photoshop and all those, Illustrator and all that. But for this, we're using PDF print. And ta-da! Just like that, you have this beautiful, vibrant, illustrated interior that you created with zero drawing or artistic skills. And once you have your whole interior created and you've designed your cover and made that, and you're going to create your cover on a separate PDF print file. So the interior is one file and the PDF print cover is another file. You can upload that directly to KDP and be off to the races.
And that's it. I hope this was helpful for you. I really enjoyed putting these videos together. Like I said, some oldies and some newbies, and I hope there's something in there for you. Please let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions or if you're actually going to create a children's book using this method. And also if there's anything else that I can include next time. And that's it. Thanks for sticking around. Until next time, be blessed.